terrible after the first round. Okay, usually he has a hard time picking up prospects after the first round. He nails the first round pick. It always happens. Brian Burns is a stud, and you build on that. That's where Brown comes in. That's where Kinlaw comes in, or whatever it is. You have to hit the first, second, third, and fourth round pick for the Carolina Panthers, no matter if that's moving up to go get a player that's maybe moving down. My personal opinion, our offense is going to be fine. We're going to put up some numbers. Joe Brady is going to have this team moving the football. Christian McCaffrey, the new man that's $16 million running back, highest paid in the NFL right now in the history of running back position. You have him. Then you have Teddy Bridgewater, and then you have DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson now is going to be the focal point of this Carolina Panthers offense. The offense is set. Go if you need to draft an offensive tackle later in the round to kind of see if something will fit. I'm fine with that. Yes, the offensive line needs some work, but I still think we got a competitive offensive line moving forward. What the Carolina Panthers need to focus on the first 4 rounds has to be defense. Get at least 3 starters. This is what they should do. Trade away that 7 overall pick for a team that is hungry, that will going to give you multiple picks. That way you can kind of move down. I'm thinking down to the 17, maybe down to just a few spots to the 10 mark, whatever it is. Go get Kinlaw. Go get Patrick Quinn, linebacker that Joe Brady is very familiar with over at LSU. Go get a Justin Jefferson, quite possibly moving down the line, the wide receiver from LSU. But yes, Simmons would be an everything for the Carolina Panthers. I understand that. And Brown is really, I was watching this video on him today just to kind of refresh on the young man. He's a force. I mean, he was throwing people, looked like he was taking them by one hand and just throwing across the field. I mean, he's a strong individual. But I think Kinlaw from South Carolina, go Gamecocks, I think he's going to be that and possibly better moving forward. He's just a raw talent, but he's just a mammoth of a human being. You can get him, be your focal point, put him with Burns, it would be outstanding. And then you kind of fill in with the linebacker position. Then you go get Xavier McKinney, or you go get a Trevon Diggs, or a Grant Dilpert from LSU, whatever. I still think LSU is going to be a main focal point here for the Carolina Panthers in this draft. Then you have Lynch. The linebacker position in this draft, yes, they say the wide receiver is fantastic. Yes, they say cornerback is fantastic. But the linebacker position, quite possibly, can be the best we've seen ever at the NFL draft. I think, Murray, Quinn, Bond from Wisconsin, Lynch from Baylor. Then you have Wilson from Wyoming, guys that are looking to make a name for themselves, potentially can be the focal point of a defense for the NFL. So there's so much to look forward to. Again, it's going to be a rebuild. I understand that. But moving forward, if we can nail this NFL draft, I'm telling you, I think it's going to be a lot better than people think.
I hope you're right, Trey.
Yeah, me too.
It's going to take time, though.
That's
right.
So
you mentioned the LSU connection. I mean, I saw a mock draft that said, they might think that they might draft Thaddeus Moss in like the 4th or 5th round or something like that. So, it'd be someone good to pair it with Evan Thomas and boost that offense a little bit further, and that's an LSU connection.
I'm telling you right now, you let me talk about the Carolina Panthers for an entire hour, I can make something happen.
Yeah,
I can make something happen. Again, because I'm looking for it. This rebuild really has been in the making quite some time. That should have been a long time ago. If that makes any sense, and it didn't sound like it made any sense, but I promise you, I knew what I'm talking about. But with the aging veterans, with people just the crazy contracts that Hurney has given over the last couple of years. Yes, we just gave the richest contract in running back history, but that's well deserved because he's still in his prime. A lot of these individuals that they were giving money to or were going to give money to are no longer there. So this rebuild has come really at the perfect time. And the reason why it's the perfect time, because and all this craziness going on, and this virtual where teams cannot personally shake somebody's hand and watch them practice, whatever it is, our entire defense and offense personnel for the Carolina Panthers literally just came from the college ranks. Every single one of them. And so they have the upfront, personnel to be able to know really a lot about these players that we're going to see come off the board like, who the heck is this? All of a sudden, he's going to be a 10-year starter. I mean, that's what's going to happen in this draft if you do it right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do. It would be good to maybe bring in an offensive lineman, a good, strong offensive lineman in the draft. I've heard a lot of talk about Ben Bredesen of Michigan. The words that I've heard of talking about him is he is a monster offensive lineman, and he would really fit in well with the Panthers. And so I'm kind of keeping my eye and seeing if the Panthers will go after someone of his caliber, because that would do nothing but just help the running game even more. And I think the offensive line does a pretty good job. I mean, they had the best rusher in the NFL last year, and I mean, you can have Terry Bradshaw back there at quarterback, but if you didn't have the receivers or the protection around him for him to get the ball downfield to Lynn Swann and all those guys, well, then he's just another average quarterback. Well, it takes, it is a team game, and, you got to give that quarterback protection. Well, in this case, McCaffrey has to have the blocking. You can be a really, really good running back, but if you don't have a good, solid offensive line, I think when you have someone who is considered the best running back in the NFL, well, a lot of that's due because he has an offensive line. I remember when the Cowboys running back that led the NFL, Emmitt Smith, and it's tough for me to say that because I'm a Florida State fan, and he went to anyway.
That's your own fault. That's nobody else's fault except yourselves.
That's right. But he talked about when he retired, he started mentioning players, and when he got to like his fullback, Daryl Moose Johnson, and his offensive line, he started naming them guys, and he started tearing up because he realized he does nothing without those guys. And I'm sure McCaffrey is the same way. He would say the same thing. So I think bringing in another offensive lineman, a good one, with the ones that they got now, I think the running game is in good shape. And I'm kind of watching that this offensive guard from Michigan. I think he would be a really good asset if they were to pick him up.
He's a big-bodied offensive line. I love big bodies. Throw them in there. They might be raw as all can be. Throw them in there. Let Chris McCaffrey do his thing. Just don't let him get tackled. That's all we want you to do. We don't want you to be special. Just be fat. Get out there and block some people.
That's right. It all starts at the line of scrimmage. And, if you got good guys who are like the Hogs of the Washington Redskins back in the day, I'm sorry, but I think my wife could run behind the Hogs. It's just that they were that good, But, no, it takes, obviously, you have to have somebody who knows how to read and make cuts and things of that nature. But it really does all start up front.
Daniel Moore.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've always been with that philosophy that it all starts at the line of scrimmage. Offensively, you can't do a whole lot. You don't have time to get it done. But, I think, with the pickups we have made on that offensive line, I think losing Trey Turner was a big one. Greg, Dan Rotten, good riddance. I don't think he was really all that great, but I think we could find easily somebody to replace him. But defensively, like I said, there's a lot of places that we need to. And more or less, like you said, Trey, we really need to hit on at least 3 of these 4 draft picks that we get. Otherwise, it's going to be a longer rebuild than we're wanting for sure.
Absolutely. it's hard to believe it, but an hour has already gone by. So we are going to end this segment of the roundtable discussion right here on the CRN Sports Podcast Platform. This is CRN Sports Network, as well as everything we do at crnsports.org. Brandon White, anything that you want to get off your chest before we let you go, my friend?
Well, I gotta say I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this online draft unfold when it does take place here in about a week or two. That should be a fun little experiment. But remember, when Roger Goodell comes on, we all have to boo. Okay, we won't hear the audience. We won't hear the audience this year, so we have to keep the tradition alive. We can't let the flame die out. We gotta boo him when he shows up in his basement.
You'll hear the boost from around the world. No worries.
That's a time-honored tradition. We have to keep it going.
Dude,
I love it.
dude, don't do that while I'm trying to drink a cup of water, man.
I love it. Bruce Barrett, anything you want to get off your chest, my friend?
Well, I think the draft's going to be fun to watch. It always is. It's going to be different, obviously. Yeah, you kind of wonder, are they going to have like a soundtrack going in when the commissioner, who's probably going to be in some basement somewhere or whatever, comes out? As he comes out, are they going to turn up the volume for the boos? And then when the pick is made, will there be cheers and stuff or heckling or whatever? It's just going to be a lot of fun to watch. But the bottom line is, there's teams out there that are, they're getting ready. They've already got their war rooms, if you will, looking. And of course they did have the what do they call the things where they run and do the 40 and everything?
Combine.
Combines, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad you came tonight, brother. Thanks.
I got you, man. I got you back.
But they had they call it the underwear Olympics, I guess, too. But anyway, they've had all that. They had a chance to evaluate, potential prospects to come in and help their teams. And so it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I'm looking forward. The thing is, will we have a season? That's the big question right now. But we gotta go forward like as if we're going to have one, and hopefully we'll have a season. And I would like just to throw in the XFL, as you know, they declared bankruptcy yesterday.
May they rest in peace.
So they are their second time they didn't make it either. So it's pretty sad. But there were some players in the XFL that some of these coaches got a chance to watch. So we'll see who comes up from that also.
We see what PJ Walker. We saw some quarterbacks come out of the XFL. It was a great league. I think it was fun. I enjoyed every bit of it. But fanboy of the DC Defenders, and it's a shame that it kind of came to this. And the guy from Tampa Bay, the Vipers, came on sports radio show just a couple of days ago and said, "Look, the fans loved it down at Tampa. They loved every bit of it. They were ecstatic about it. They were having fun." What he says is that yes, they filed bankruptcy. Yes, it's already canceled for 2021, but he feels like that they'll be back. His exact words, feels like they will be back at a later date. We just don't know when. I hope so too. It's just like a minor league for just like NBA, G League, TBL, the basketball league that we are the flagship network of the Raleigh Firebirds for the basketball league here on the Triangle. But just like it's really what that is a minor league team for NFL or across the the country. But I would love for it to come back because these kids coming out after a year of anything, basketball, baseball, obviously football is a demanding sport. I hate for something like that to go, especially if they're allowed to get some success moving forward into their career. Just like PJ Walker was drafted was part of Indianapolis and didn't do very well, and all of a sudden he went down to XFL and had a great season, led quarterback play in the XFL, and now look at him. He could potentially take over starting role for the Carolina Panthers. Not that I think that's going to happen, but he's in a good position, kind of the same